start streaming now. Make sure that's working. Is that working? Yeah, it's working.
That's not a knife.
Alright, this is a knife. Alright, now that's
a
recording.
That's recording.
It's recording.
I'm going to walk about.
Alright. And then we got the intro going. What is up, dudes and dudettes, and all our comrades in between? This is the Rad Left podcast with James and Casey. This is Casey.
Hey, guys.
Today's episode is brought to you by the 2020 Bash the Fash Bash.
Fash bash.
Yeah, so that's we're bashing fascists with fashion, and it's a whole bash. So
Last year's was a big hit.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
We had the Clintons out, and we beat them like piñatas.
I heard that.
I heard that. That's our new catchphrase on the Rad Left.
Yep.
Just came up with it today. Yeah, so today we've got Danger, a good friend of mine. We go way back. You may recall the story of me shitting over the edge of a guardrail after smoking some illicit chemicals with him.
I think that was our first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was first or second. So if you guys are true diehard fans, then you'll remember that story.
You shit over the Calumet Bridge.
Yeah.
Where I walk with my son quite often.
Yes. I
He
shit
does.
on your family.
He shit on my family. He does always say, "It smells like shit around here, Dad." I'm like, "Yep."
Yeah.
And then I told him a long tale.
Yes.
There's a boy once named James.
A tale of two lads.
A tale of two lads.
But he's living out in the West, and he is our correspondent for reporting on alt-right militias and motorcycle clubs, and basically anybody that Trump is appealing to right now to try and own the libs through extreme LARPing and sometimes real bullets.
And we just had that thing go down here in Dublin, Ohio, right? The whole trying to weren't they trying to like do something with the governor of Michigan? Did you hear about all that?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the details about that? I'll be honest, this last weekend I just haven't been thinking.
Yeah, so it was a group of people who were planning to kidnap the governor, who has a long-standing beef with Trump. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so then it got caught by the FBI.
Oh wow!
But they're just called a militia. They're not called terrorists, right?
Right.
Yeah, they're not terrorists.
No.
If Antifa, who is just anybody who's not fascist, were to do that, then it would be a terrorist thing.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll get into that for sure. And then a couple other things. I don't know if you saw, but a Pinkerton shot a Trumper. I don't remember exactly where that took place. But a Pinkerton, which I didn't even know they were still around. Did you?
Wait, I don't even. What is a Pinkerton?
So they're like a family from back in the day. They're like a family that always got hired by the government and the police to break up unions.
Oh.
And they just ran around killing unionists and communists and stuff back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a huge thing. They were hired to break up a coal miners union, and they got their asses kicked, and they had to call in like the National Guard with tanks and stuff and that to break it up.
Wow. Is that where the Weezer album name comes from, Pinkerton?
I don't know. I probably know more about the old school Pinkertons than I do about Weezer, to be honest with you. Which isn't a lot.
That's fine.
Yeah. So anyway, so they're a modern security firm, and they got hired to protect. I'm not even sure who they were out there protecting, but a Trumper was harassing people. Went up to the Pinkerton, who was there on running security detail, slapped him in the face, and then started spraying him with bear mace.
Ooh,
and
ooh.
so the Pinkerton just straight up shot him.
Wow. Well, that's
watch the video of that.
Did Trumper die?
Yes, he's very dead.
Very dead.
And the Pinkerton is in jail.
Huh.
So as far as I'm concerned, that's two opposing fascists that are now in jail.
Let them all take each other out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great. I prefer that.
I'm going through a similar situation watching two sexual predators on my Facebook feed take each other out, and it's kind of nice.
Oh, yeah.
Just sitting back watching some people in the scene that should have gotten called out. I'm not 100% again. I'm not 100% for call out culture, but every once in a while when it happens, it's fun to sit back and watch.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching a tornado come through and it takes out your shitty neighbors, you're gonna sit back and have a drink.
Yeah, there's definitely some Schadenfreude there.
Right. There you go. Thank you for that. Tell me what that word means. I'm learning a lot.
It's German. It's because we don't have a phrase for it, or we don't have like a word for it.
I've been seeing it everywhere, and I'm keeping
it.
And
it's because of Trump getting COVID. It's
okay.
The pleasure of seeing someone fail.
Oh God, I have that all the time. Then.
Yes.
Yeah, I even enjoy watching myself fail. That's the only time I learn. Like, look
well,
at
that's
you.
just masochism.
Yeah, you're right. Unless you can, separate on a good ketamine trip, then you're not looking at yourself. You're looking at this dummy that every once in a while you inhabit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that's another story.
And then I saw just this morning, the Black Gun Owners Association shared a video of a protest where a black man is looking very uncomfortable and disturbed, like moving away from this group of white people, and especially this one really aggressive white dude who starts to charge at him, runs up on him, and is clearly about to assault him. And he's got the black man has his hand in a backpack and pulls it out and just shoots the guy as he's like charging up on him. So yeah, I mean, and it's a stand your ground state. So it was self-defense 100%.
Is he okay? Is he fine?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about the guy he shot. I'm not sure. Like I
I'm
said,
I'm talking about I don't care about the guy he shot.
Oh, right.
I've got the Schnudenfreud. The
Schneudenfreuden.
How do you pronounce it again?
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Schadenfreude!
I might be pronouncing that wrong.
That's fine. It's better than my Schnudens.
Schnudenfreuden.
All right.
All right. Well, yeah. So that's just kind of like to kick things off. I guess we had the vice presidential debates that we haven't talked about, but who cares?
There's a fly on his head.
There was a fly, and yeah, it was so exciting.
Yeah, that's all they got.
It was so
even
so
SNL
exciting.
Couldn't make fun of it right. They even pulled in Jim Carrey, and it just didn't work.
Ugh. God damn it, Jim Carrey.
God damn it, Jim Carrey.
It's
I blame him.
Yeah.
It really is. Ever since that Mask sequel, things haven't been the same.
There was a Mask sequel?
I think it was Jamie Kennedy in it, so we can't even blame.
Ugh!
Do you remember Jamie Kennedy?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What was it? What was it? Something's Most Wanted?
Oh, America's... No.
It was...
God, I know.
That really rich Beverly Hills Most Wanted.
God, that was horrible.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's probably good, just in a dumb way.
Yeah.
I like dumb stuff. I like Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh, dude, Freddy Got Fingered is great.
It's best.
Anyway, now that we've gone over current events...
Yes, it's like 20 years ago.
Let's go ahead and introduce our... Oh, it's Malibu's Most Wanted.
There you go.
That's it. Your wife is on it.
Jeez, I didn't know she was a Jamie Kennedy fan. Mask sequel. Yeah, it's like Mask Junior or Mask Son of Mask.
Oh, the Son of the Mask.
Yeah,
I do remember
maybe it
that.
wouldn't be a natural.
Jeez. And then Jessica wanted me to say it again. The 2020 Bash the Fash Fash Bash.
Bash the Fash Fash Bash.
Yeah.
That actually would be a pretty good skit right there. You might have thought of a better one than I heard that.
I heard that. All right, guys. So yeah, without further ado, no further. This is Danger. Everyone say hello to Danger.
Hello, Danger.
Hello.
How are you doing out there in the West?
Boy, kind of really in the thick of it right now as far as Trump country goes, but I'm doing all right.
That's good.
Yeah. I look like a Trump supporter, so nobody really bothers me on anything.
Yeah, you've been pretty deep undercover with that look before Trump even was considered a potential nominee, so...
Yeah, this is mine.
If anything, the Trumpers stole the look from you. Bastards.
Yeah, they don't like it when you tell them that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. All it would take to get you to say that to them, though, is a couple dollar gin and tonics, though.
Apparently I'll say anything after a couple dollar gin and tonics.
It's true. Anyway, so yeah, to dive into our main topic tonight, so you want to give us like a rundown on kind of your situation, like why you are the authority on this as far as the people that I know?
Well, pretty much just been bouncing around the rural West for the past 3 years. And, I just started noticing people wearing 3%ers patches on their clothes or T-shirts and hoodies walking around, Walmart or wherever podunk town I was in. And after all this crazy stuff started happening this year, I started noticing just at like local gas stations, we have our bulletin boards up, and there would just be flyers advertising for militias. And, meet us down at the, we meet at the front table at the pizza parlor every third Wednesday, so come on down and talk about overthrowing the government and stuff with us. So, yeah. After that, I just started doing a lot more research, and the area I'm in now, we told people we were moving to this area somewhere in Montana, and even people in Montana were like, oh, really? Like, kind of rough neighborhood. And I was like, it can't be that bad. So I started doing some more research on the local groups, and it turns out it is that bad. Yeah, there's quite a following. This is pretty much the area that the militia movement was founded in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And incidents like I'm within an hour's drive from where the Ruby Ridge standoff happened. Mm-hmm. And one of the first militias in the country was actually the militia of Montana. And so this area of the country has a real long history with white supremacist groups, with militia groups, anti-environmentalism, and even there's even like anti-Indian groups out here, anti-Native American groups. Jeez. So they're pretty much against everything out here. They're against wolves. They like shooting wolves and stuff. So
fuck those wolves.
Yeah.
Fuck the wolves. That's what I always say. Hey, do you guys have a very low case of COVID out there? I see, though, right? Am I correct on that? At least that's one thing going for you.
Relatively, like we don't have a whole lot of cases, but there's not a whole lot of people. So
right.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise, we're right there with everybody else.
I guess that's
and like probably less than 50% of the people out here wear masks and stuff.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
And my girlfriend works at the hospital, and things just aren't even getting tested, so things aren't getting counted. The numbers out here are inconsequential. Nobody knows what the hell's going on with COVID.
Wow.
Sure. Well, when you have that high a percentage of white supremacists and Trumpers and just anti-everything people, the odds of people giving a shit about other people's or their own healths is pretty low.
I bet if the wolves had COVID, they'd care, though. They'd be like, get these fucking wolves out of here.
Get these Obama wolves out of here.
Fuck.
These plague rat wolves.
Yes.
It really is amazing the rationale behind some of the people out here not taking COVID precautions.
Mm.
Like, I read this newsletter from a far-right Christian identity group, and they're pretty fucking crazy. But the rationale was, if you're washing your hands of Jesus, like you're saying you're not there, and went into like a whole history of how masks have been used in pagan rituals for thousands of years, and that this whole thing is just a conspiracy from the media elites to secretly trick everybody into worshiping Satan.
Wow.
And I like, wow. Oh yeah, they go. Well, they got a lot of free time up here. They can.
Whew. I like the idea that just by like adorning something that somebody that you disagree with, like wears, or like even vaguely, that automatically will just instill all of their values into you, and that you are now like morally on the same plane.
Yep. You can't go to doctor's offices.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? All dentists are the biggest occult conspiracy ever. Dentists.
Big dentist.
Gotta get out of the back pocket of big dentist. Big mask of
dentist.
So what is the difference?
Don't want to be a... Well, go ahead.
What is the difference between like a 3%er and like an oath keeper? Let's say. I think those are two different branches of militia, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you know? Is there a difference, or are they, you know?
I mean, first of all, there are hundreds of militia groups right now.
Right.
And a lot of them are just kind of like Facebook groups that really pose no threat at all.
Right.
Yeah.
But at least between the 3%ers and the Oath Keepers, the 3%ers is more of an umbrella militia.
Yeah.
Like they would consider all the other militias to be a part of them to a certain extent. Whereas the Oath Keepers are a constitutionalist militia, you know, who have pledged to protect America from, quote, all enemies, domestic and foreign. So they try to recruit a lot of military members and a lot of ex-police, ex-cops, sheriffs and stuff. So, but those guys are some of like not nearly as extreme as some of the other groups out here. Like the ones that have a large media presence are usually the ones that are the least dangerous.
Gotcha. So, do you want to give us kind of a rundown of some of the major players and kind of their core ideologies? Because I know a lot of them, while whiteness and protecting the white culture and this weird merging of God and country, I know that's kind of a common factor through a lot of them, but there are a lot of differences. Like, you know, a lot of people argue that the Proud Boys aren't white supremacists because they have a Mexican president at the moment or whatever, and then I have seen you know, black members of their group, so I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of easy to just be like all alt-right militias are white supremacists, but maybe it's a little more nuanced than that.
Yeah, some of them take great pains. The Oath Keeper, the Oath Keepers come to mind. That they are explicitly not racist, but you know they do exploit the status quo and current power structures. So
Sure.
You know it's kind of hard to not be when you're associated with hundreds of groups that very explicitly are.
Yeah.
So like overall, there's a couple different movements out here. There's a Christian identity movement. These are going to be like your fundamental, you know, Pentecostals and Baptists and stuff, but they believe that pretty much Eve fucked Satan and gave birth to the Jewish race.
Oh God.
And then Jews are literally the spawn of Satan in their eyes. And then
Sorry, honey.
white people are the true white people are the true people of God. And their goals are very explicitly political.
Yeah.
They are electing people to state Congress. They want to pretty much dismantle current American institutions and replace them with biblical law and pretty much have a white nationalist state.
Yeah.
Like, they don't believe that black people or people of color are actually human. They believe they came before Adam and Eve and can't even be considered human.
Wow.
So that's Christian identity.
That
Then
sounds
there's
about right.
the create. What's that?
So that sounds about right.
Yeah, my wife is half Jewish, and I can account for all that. That's very true. She's not human.
If anybody I know has fucked Satan directly, I think it's your wife.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know she has.
Yes.
Yeah. You should look at my feet. I do have gargoyle feet. We're trying to make light of all this because it's so scad. That's scary and sad at the same time.
Oh, I like it.
It's so scad. I just made that up because I can't talk right. I'm not even drinking, guys. What the fuck's wrong with me?
You came pretty drunk.
You should grab a beer because that's not even the worst of these groups.
I want to hear more.
Like, it really is demoralizing just constantly, like, researching these groups and stuff. It makes you makes you want to beat your face into a wall over and over again sometimes.
Where do you have your own? Are you a lone wolf out there? I know you said you're married, right? Are you girlfriend or your wife, right?
Yeah, I've been living with my girlfriend in a 19-foot travel trailer for 3 years now.
Do you have a friend group out there, or are you like on your own, deep in there? Do you have anybody to hang out with, or?
Nope, not really. Pretty much just me out here.
All right, there's something really cool about that. Yeah,
I like just being the guy on the side of the mountain, and like going to town for supplies once a week and stuff. But
yeah,
normally I'd make connections at bars, but with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
We just haven't been going to bars or anything lately.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, what's up next? So we got CID.
So then we got these next guys. These guys are by far the worst as far as ideology and practices go. They're something that's loosely called the creation movement. And they're explicitly anti-Christian, anti-people of color, anti-homosexual. They actually, they call them, the various groups call themselves churches, but they actually worship like the concept of whiteness itself.
Weird.
Wow.
Which is kind of a brain fuck. Like, even cutting God out of the picture, just they are the best thing ever, so they worship themselves pretty much.
Well, that's actually pretty satanic, actually. Very humanist.
Yeah.
Like, actually satanic.
They're anti any religious doctrine, pretty much. And
interesting.
But yeah, they've been linked to several since the mid '80s. They've been linked to several murders, bombings of gay clubs, bombings of NAACP offices. Some splinters of the group took up to robbing armed cars in the Pacific Northwest to fund their stuff. They've had various compounds around Idaho and Washington. And yeah, their explicit goal was racial holy war, or Rahawo, they call it. So if you're ever at a punk show and somebody yells Rahawo, just go ahead and elbow them right in the throat, because they're some of the worst pieces of shit you're ever going to run across. But yeah, their goal is a whites-only world, not even a state, just kill everybody else. White people are the only thing.
Wow, these fucking terrorists, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. It's a fun one. Luckily, they've been declined since the 90s and the early 2000s, when most of their leaders got arrested for soliciting the murder of federal judges. But they are regrouping, and they are, pretty emboldened by Trump being in office and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, those guys fucking suck.
I guess
another drink.
that fits pretty well with, that tracks pretty well with Trump's behavior and his personality. I think, like that especially, because I've had the argument with people, and I've probably had it on here before, but that I think that Trump doesn't believe in anything enough to be I don't know, like to be about like a Christian theology, like even though he like says he is or whatever, but
Right,
like
but
he doesn't believe in anything greater than himself. So that sounds like the very like. Well, actually, I don't know. Do you think Trump believes in the idea of whiteness to the point of it being a religion, or is it just more like Trump believing in just himself?
Yeah, he's completely. It's the whole slopsism thing. I think he is really in the belief that he's the only thing that exists because it's all he knows.
Oh yeah.
I just think he would make a church. I mean, he has made churches to himself all over the place. That's basically what Trump Towers are, really, right?
Just giant monuments to himself.
That's pretty much it. That's all he's got. What was the name of that last group again? What were they called?
That's the Creator Movement.
Creator.
And there were various groups like the Church of the Creator, the Northwest Church of the Creator. These guys are real good at naming shit, but they're all pretty much just something Church of the Creator.
Creepy.
Nice. All right, what's next on your list?
Oh, next we got the good old anti-Indian movement.
Oh wow.
Which is
Jesus.
Which is a fun one. Yeah, basically, these guys got real pissed off because
they
there's
got
a
pissed
lot of
off because they stole somebody's land.
Hey, God damn
because
it.
Damn.
Well, they're usually white people that live on Indian reservations. Because the reservations out here are pretty large.
Yeah.
And in the 70s, the reservations started charging a $5 fee. It was the Flathead Indian Reservation. They started charging a $5 fee to hunt or fish or recreate on their land. And some people were like super not down with that.
$5?
So, yeah. Yeah, they view it as pretty much any intrusion. Weak. Yeah, in this area of the country, any intrusion from an outside authority is considered something that must be stopped at all costs.
Jesus.
And that's more into the militia movement, but these guys took it in an explicitly anti-reservation bent. And their goal is the abolition of all Indian reservations. And they kind of go about it like, hey, if we're all going to be equal, we should, not be separating these people from our society. But the real reason is they don't want to pay taxes to the reservations or any fees or anything.
Sure.
And they even go as far, I mean, obviously there's a lot of conspiracy theories involved with these groups. And the big one with this one is the Agenda 21 that the Native Americans are going to basically take away everybody else's water rights and give the water rights to the UN. Where I guess the UN is going to do something evil with it. I don't know. They pretty much stopped their logic at that point. But,
yeah, just the UN, one of the most feckless and ineffective organizations in the world, are all of a sudden going to step forward and just control one of the most precious natural resources.
I was talking about the Agenda 21 a couple episodes ago, just trying to at least show it maybe was more intelligent than QAnon. But then, since then, I had someone point out to me, and that's Agenda 21 right there, making a siren to tell me to stop talking about them. Anyways, basically, when I realized it was started by big oil and shit, and conservatives believe in it, it's 100%. I look sometimes to see how can I dismiss a conspiracy theory, and that was the way to do that one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though you could just use logic.
The actual agenda that was put forth by the United Nations is it's pretty much just a bunch of logistical stuff.
Yeah.
So we have a finite amount of resources, and we just reached the point in history where more people live in cities than in the country. So how do we distribute these resources in the most efficient way?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to run water to an apartment building that has 20 apartments than to 20 different houses. And this is just and it's a non-binding agreement. So even if you agree to it, there's no rules to enforce it or anything. But it's pretty much just about efficient distribution of resources, dwindling resources. And somehow that leads to concentration camps, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, FEMA
Yeah,
camps.
Caring about other people is the most fascist thing imaginable.
And they bring in the whole renewable energy as part of Agenda 21 too, and that's the good side of it. But somehow they look at that as as something bad as well. I don't know.
Taking
fucking
away
how.
jobs. They always, yeah, I don't know.
Even though it brings jobs, doesn't renewable.
Yep.
Yeah, but they don't listen to logic.
No.
Yeah.
No
fuck that.
logic.
No logic.
All right, and that was the anti-Indian one. What was their name?
There's several different groups.
Ah.
They all have like cutesy little names like the Citizens Equal Rights Alliance, or All Citizens Equal, or the Front Range Taxpayers Association. You know, they really want to come off as like, we're just about equality and
Good old
small
boy.
government.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't seem to be targeting any other organizations except for the tribal government. So
Yeah.
yeah, their goal is forced assimilation of these groups,
Jesus Christ. All right.
which is that's a real light one there.
Yeah.
Didn't
Good
we
stuff.
already do that to them once?
Yeah, you know,
Hmm.
like just kicking people when they're down, like still
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Kicked them a long time ago, still down.
Let them have their stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the reservation's too much, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Jesus Christ. I would totally join a reverse militia of that where it's Native Americans and pro-Native American people trying to overthrow the entire government to give it back to them.
Yeah.
I would join that militia for sure.
Have you ever seen that video
Yeah.
of the one guy? It's a great video. I'd like to play it sometime. Where it's the guy at the Congress. He's all dressed up in the headdress and everything, and he's talking to Congress about basically just saying "fuck you" for what you've done to
Oh,
us.
yeah?
It's really empowering. Yeah,
Nice.
it's good stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, moving on. What else you got for us?
moving on. Well, I guess next is the big one, the one that's been in the news a lot lately, which is the militia movement. And they're pretty much pick your favorite part of the Constitution and forget the rest of it,
Right.
and then defend that part of the Constitution. Like, there's no militia that's, pro-alcohol prohibition militia, even though that's still in the Constitution and shit.
Yeah.
There's no the 25th Amendment militia, It tends to be the Second Amendment is what they rally around.
I'm a Third Amendment militia personally. I really
That's
want to be
actually a
ordered.
big one.
Oh, really?
That's actually a big one.
What?
Yeah. Because,
That's absurd.
well, the UN is going to put all of these foreign troops on our land, and they're going to make them stay in your condo,
Oh, okay.
That's the plan. That's Agenda 21 right there,
Stay out of my summer home.
Yeah, you're going to have some dude from Wales is going to show up and stay in your vacation house and drink all your beer and shit.
Damn them.
But yeah, these groups there's a lot of them. They probably have the most membership by numbers than any of the other organizations that we've talked about. Like the other ones, maybe 250 people.
Mm-hmm.
They're just very active members. But these guys, they number in the thousands. And there was a data leak on the Oath Keepers. They had 25,000 different people on their contacts list.
What?
A lot of them are no longer members of the group or have moved on or joined other groups and stuff. Like, they don't have 25,000 members.
Yeah.
Probably closer to about 3,000 or so.
Okay.
But, they all pretty much believe that the federal government is very much overreaching the powers given to it by the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and that there will come a time where armed citizens have to stand up against that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if that's just if that's all there is to it, I might not disagree with that necessarily. Just when it comes to
Like, that's
I heard
yeah.
that.
like just with the police and national
I
government.
heard that.
Yeah. You heard that.
I heard that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real benign parts of the movement, I guess. And, it's things that some people should be concerned about.
Yeah.
But it really got started between the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of farm foreclosures. And so this group called Posse Comitatus, which is Latin for, like, power to the county, started, protesting these farm
what was that
foreclosures and
again?
stuff.
Pussy commie potatoes, tater tots. Pussy commie tater tots.
Pinko commie tater tots.
Nice.
But
Nailed it.
they pretty much came along and tried to explain to these people that it's not international market forces that, you know, are causing you to go bankrupt. Like we had an grain embargo on the Soviet Union at the time that caused farm prices to completely plummet.
Mm-hmm.
But basically this group came along and said, hey, it's the international bankers' fault, which is code for Jews.
Jews, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Jews.
it evolved to that.
Anytime you hear international bankers, you know exactly who they're talking about.
that just means Jews.
Yep.
And pretty much convinced them that their farms being foreclosed is the first step in the New World Order, and you know the Jews taking over everything.
Yeah,
and
not capitalism, not capitalism.
Yeah,
it's
not
it's
just
a race of people.
I mean, it's pretty difficult to explain to the average person out here that the problems in your life are caused by impersonal economic forces on a global scale.
Yeah.
So when some crackpot comes along and says, hey, it's because the Jews hate Christians, they're like, well, that makes sense.
That's much easier to comprehend.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Let's start a militia.
I like guns. I was going to have guns anyway. Might as well point them at somebody.
Yep.
Yeah. But in the 80s, the groups pretty much died down. You know, there was, you know, they had their boy in the White House. They had Reagan in there, and everything was looking kind of rosy. And then you had Ruby Ridge and Waco. And that really, to a lot of people out here, showed them that the government was coming for them.
Yeah.
That the government wanted absolute control over them and would shoot them if they didn't get it. So that's where the modern militia movement started coming from. And that included people like, you know, Timothy McVeigh was a member of some of these militias. And some of these militias and Christian identity groups commingled with each other and, you know, really advocated for violent overthrow of the United States government to form a right-wing, you know, ethno-state pretty much.
Yeah.
And then Obama got elected, and everybody got real fucking nervous about something, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what. Can't quite put my finger on what exactly made them nervous, but something about Obama just kind of set them
It was
off.
I don't know.
that tan jacket.
It was that
It's like they weren't.
suit.
Hey, should we do a commercial break? We're about halfway through.
Oh, sure.
Do we want to do a commercial break?
Yeah, I think this is probably a good place for a quick commercial break.
Do we have a lot more militias to go through?
I mean, their names and stuff really aren't important.
Yeah.
Just, you know, they kind of all blend into each other. If you are interested in the names and stuff and ones in your group, they actually have a handy website called mymilitia.com.
Wow.
So you can, it's a message board for people wanting to start militias. Like,
Oh, that's cute.
Cool.
yeah, they have just militias for every area code. You know, there's the 419 militia and the 614 militia, and
Ooh.
they have, you know, they have a list of the equipment you're supposed to have, you know, like what guns and what ammo you should use in case, you know, they're real big into 5.56, 9mm, and 45. That way, if your comrade gets shot, you can steal his ammo and use it in your gun. Like, always have 3 days of food. Like,
Don't say comrade.
yeah, their actual names don't matter.
Don't say comrade.
What's a good term we could use for them?
Fellow fascist.
What's the-
FF.
Fellow fascist? Your FF.
I heard that.
Your BFF.
Friendly neighborhood fascist.
No, that stuff's very interesting. I had no idea there were so many different factions.
Yeah.
It's worse than band music styles right now.
Oh, I know.
It really
more
is. It's
militias
like-
than subgenres.
Yeah.
It's like the anarchist groups where, you know, they all pick one small nitpicky thing and then branch off into a
I
separate
know.
group, you know?
Yeah, the problem, the main problem between that, the anarchists and the leftist groups, and these right-wing nut jobs is that they can the right-wing people can set aside their differences for the cause of whiteness, where most left-wing subgroups can't even, like, agree to, like, on what kind of food that they want to have at their meeting or anything, let alone, like, coming together for a cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
Yeah, most of the left-wing guys can't even agree on like what to call themselves. Like, been reading a lot about post-left anarchism lately.
Oh my God.
So there's all that. But yeah, the right wing can always rally behind God and government, pretty much.
God and country, man. Yeah, they're one and the same in these people's.
Except for those creators.
Not government. God and guns.
True. Well, guns is America, I think. Yeah. There's not a lot of distinction between those two things, so.
It's true.
Besides landmass, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna cut to our commercial. This is how we make our money, folks, by selling products and services to you. AKA, we don't make any money. Here we go. Hey everybody, I'm James.
And I'm Casey. And we're
the Rad Left podcast.
And you know what, guys? While we're waiting for this podcast to take off like we know it's going to, because I'm pretty sure there aren't a lot of podcasts right now, it's going to become a cash cow. But until then, me and James have been having a little bit of trouble making ends meet, if you know what I mean.
We're poor.
We're poor.
Casey and I have come up with an innovative idea to put together our minds and bodies and bring you in as our viewers to pay us to have sex on OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, but it's not going to be like your regular everyday OnlyFans. We're going to add political content. And though it's not for the faint of heart, you're going to get to see things like this.
Communism is where the workers control the workplace. They control video production.
Are you talking pre-industrial age?
Well, it's more after that display.
Right. Bernie Sanders.
Put your finger in your mouth, you little bitch! Yeah, that's right, you throw that up. Recite to me the 11 signs of a fascist nation!
One. Control the media! Fear PowerPoints! Safe word!
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
Write it harder!
Kill the bourgeoisie! Up with the proletariat! It's too much! Not enough! It's too much! It's too much! More!
Why? Get in there! Yeah! No! Stop! Oh, it's supposed to rain Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh God. No. Yeah. Oh wait. Oh, I'm gonna take a big old dump right. Harder. God damn it, harder. Lick that boot, James. Lick that boot. Look at it, it's a boot. Lick that boot. Yeah.
So, check out our OnlyFans. Rad Left on OnlyFans.
Right, left, guys. Please give us some money.
Money, please. He's alright. He's okay. Wow! All right, and we're back.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to our products and services pitch.
Please,
there.
please sign up to our OnlyFans.
We had a lot of sex, and we made a really long video advertising that fact. So please, money us now.
We just need money.
Anyway, we're back here with Danger, and we're gonna go over, I believe, a final militia group, or umbrella. And then we'll be talking about how we can protect ourselves from these militias, things that we can do to arm ourselves physically and mentally to combat these absolute psycho LARPing fucking nut jobs. So yeah, what's the last group we have to look out for?
All right, the last one. I researched these guys when I am just completely sick of the horrible ideas of the other groups. I researched these guys as a form of comedic relief. But they're the sovereign citizen movement. And I've had good friends in Columbus, even roommates that consider themselves to be part of this group. But it's just one of those patchworks of conspiracy theories and stuff that is just it's a work of art. The others are just bringers of destruction, but these people truly create, they truly work, just, in my opinion, create art. I mean, it's batshit crazy and not grounded in any reality, but what they do is a kind of a form of art.
They'd be so crazy that it's cartoonish. Yeah, art. Yeah.
I'm sympathetic with some of the desires and beliefs of these guys, but no, it's just wrong, But I don't even know where to start with these fuckers. They're closely tied to the militia movement in a lot of ways, especially out west. But they pretty much believe that there's a series of steps that you can take to where you're not subject to the laws or taxes of the United States government. A lot of prevailing beliefs are that the sheriff is the highest authority of the land. The sheriff has more authority than the president or anything else.
Interesting.
They believe that when we went off the gold standard, we needed a way to leverage our debt with something that wasn't precious metals. So the government became a corporation and decided to use its citizens as leverage for that debt.
Huh.
So on your birth
certificate,
certificate,
Yeah.
oh, but wait, this is how conspiracies rope you in.
Yeah.
They say one reasonable thing, and then next thing you know, it's
Boom.
the Jews again.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Surprise, Jews!
That is true with spiritual leaders as well. It's like you have a cult leader, they say something that is that is a really good point.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I fuck your wife.
Yeah. That's it. Oh, the basis of this comes down to I can now have sex with your entire family if I want to. Yeah.
It's like, because by then you're so
Say one
invested.
reasonable thing, give you something to fight against, give you a sense of identity, and then fuck your wife, and it's the Jews' fault. That's
how it works. It's a slow
that's
slow
pretty
build.
much it.
It's a slow build.
Man.
Yep, and if you're
The slipperiest of slopes.
Yeah.
That's there's the bunny slope, and then there's the I don't know skiing very much. But
the black diamond.
Black diamond, and then there's the Nazi slope.
Yeah, this one is the cliff. Yeah.
It's just a cliff.
This one's just a fucking cliff.
Great.
But basically, so on your social security card and stuff, your name's in all capital letters, right?
Okay.
That is an entity that was created by the government to leverage this debt, but it's not you. So it's that legal corporate entity that owes taxes, not the real person. It's that legal corporate entity that is subject to the laws of the land, not you. So these people have a bunch of little tricks like only using red ink because corporations use black or blue ink, or only using your thumbprint as your signature, so you're not signing yourself over as the corporate entity. And they like going into court and being like, I don't have to pay taxes because only my corporate entity that you guys created has to pay taxes. And it never works. Never once says it fucking worked. They all just end up going to jail.
Yeah, well,
But they have spawned some groups like there was a notorious one out here not too long after Waco that was the Montana Freemen, who were getting their farms foreclosed and shit, decided, nah, we're not doing any of that, and created their own township called Just Us Township, and had an 81-day standoff with the feds before it actually ended peacefully. But they'll do things like file false liens on public officials, saying that, like, since you're not doing your job and you're against us, you know, we're going to file liens against your property and have this insane, arcane legal bullshit. Like, when they go to court, they try to argue that since the American flag has a gold fringe around it, that is a admiralty flag. Therefore, the court can only hear cases of laws of the sea and corporations and not tax law or law of the land. So the court has no jurisdiction. That has never worked.
Yeah, no shit.
Following that logic, I could bring in a British flag into the courtroom and be like, this is under British jurisdiction. Your laws don't fucking matter here.
Flag.
Just gonna wear
Another trick they like to use is there was this amendment to the Constitution that passed Congress, but it was never ratified by the states and is in no way a law, but it was called the Noble Titles Act. And it said if you held a title from a foreign country, it renounced your citizenship. So if you were like a baron or a duke, you couldn't be a U.S. citizen. So these people like to call themselves esquires, because in France, esquire used to be a title. But here it just means you're a fucking lawyer. It's not a title over here.
Yeah.
Or they'll call themselves, you know, whatever their name is, von Duschenberg or whatever. Because von was Old Prussian for a title of nobility, you know? And Prussia doesn't even fucking exist as a country anymore, so I don't know how that works.
Well, it's still out of their jurisdiction. Non-existent jurisdiction.
Yeah, basically they view themselves as countries unto themselves.
Yeah.
Every now and again they'll shoot a couple cops, you know, whatever.
Okay.
But
I'm just gonna start
basically
wearing I'm just gonna start wearing a Ugandan flag everywhere I go around me, like a dress, and be like, nope.
Nope, I can jaywalk wherever the fuck I want wearing
Check
it.
it out. My legs are under a different jurisdiction.
Yep. That's a good idea.
Never mind that if you're a foreign citizen, you're still subject to American laws when you're in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still have to pay American taxes while you're here, so I don't get how any of that works.
God bless them.
I don't know.
They believe that
it's kooky. I like it.
The 14th Amendment, which, you know, granted citizenship to the slaves,
Yeah.
they believe that that created U.S. citizens, but white people are state citizens. So if you were a white person born in Montana, you're not a U.S. citizen. You're only a citizen of the state. So you get out of paying child support or something. I don't know. But it's to the point where they create their own quantum syntaxes and their own languages, their own real, actual legal language. Like, they always think that there's this one fucking thing that they can do that will get them off scot-free, and they won't have to follow any laws.
Yeah. And what it always comes down to is, along with the like anti-Native American militias, just comes down to not paying money. A lot of this stuff is just a monetary financial inconvenience that gives them emboldens them enough to take up arms.
Well, that's pretty much the basis of all of these ideologies, and even into some of the anti-ecology groups, or the anti-environmental groups, you know, is pretty much private property is the basis of all freedom in their view.
Yeah.
So anything that takes any of your private property is trying to take your freedom.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's pretty much just the like liberalism boiled down to its most basic, most horrifying roots.
That's why it's great to be so poor, because we don't care. We're just like, we're beyond money. We're so poor and so
We're post money.
yeah, we're post money. We're like in a post money mindset. Like we're beyond it.
We're not being starved to death. We're just above it.
It doesn't affect us to live off $20 a week.
Yeah.
It doesn't do any. I'm so used to it.
Right.
And we're relatively thin, so you know.
Yeah, it's good for our physique.
I feel okay about this.
All the beer though, that goes right to
Yes. Well, we can afford beer. We gotta have something.
Well, yeah, that's all we got.
I'm a wino like Danger here. I'm more.
Oh yeah, the beer. I mean, I got a couple beers here on standby, but
yeah,
definitely. We started making our own wine out here, so I've been,
really?
Nice.
Been getting into that. Start out with dandelion wine and moved on to rhubarb, and basically whatever we find on the side of the road, we try to make a wine out of it.
Whoa, what are you drinking right
cool.
now? Just like cattail
box wine.
You made some wine out of boxes. Good for you.
So how do we?
I can't make enough wine to satisfy my thirst, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
How do we protect ourselves or fight against these fucking militia?
Well, like
Miliciosos.
I mean, there's a lot, like, we have to address the issues that give rise to these types of thinking, first and foremost. And that is going to be a long-term process that, you know, it's not one thing you can do. What should you do is just praxis. Grow your food and give it to your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors. Go out there and pick up trash. Don't wait for the government to solve any of your problems. Go out there and build communities. Like this consumerist society does such a good job of alienating ourselves from our neighbors that all of a sudden our neighbors have become the other that needs fought against.
Good point.
But,
yeah, that's a very good point.
And like, you know, that's one of the reasons, I know you guys are going to give me shit for this, but like, that's one of the reasons I vote is because I don't give a fuck about who's president. You know, I'm going to vote against whoever's against Donald Trump because I want to see him cry and go to jail and stuff, because that would just be fucking hilarious. But trickle-down economics doesn't work, so why would we think that trickle-down politics would work?
No. It definitely comes from the bottom up, and I very much go out and vote, everyone. Like, I hope nobody's getting that vibe from us that we're saying not to vote.
Vote for the people on your school board. Vote for your sheriff. Like, these are the people that have real control over your lives. Like, vote for water policies that'll keep giant corporations like Nestle from taking your resources and selling them back to you, you know? Like, that's what we got to do. I mean, you know, the education thing's a big thing. If we were taking slavery and racism out of the textbooks, then we got to re-educate these motherfuckers before they're ever even going to be on it. It just makes our job that much harder.
I mean, we're seeing that in real time right now. Well, not in real time, but we're seeing it in lag time from all these boomers who were taught, you know, by the greatest generation about because it was important back then to have like a real, you know, a massively overstated belief in America because we were going up against fascists, you know, so we had to, like, the propaganda machine was working very well, was working overtime. And then we have the boomers who are now just completely lost. They don't, you know, they obviously don't understand, you know, systemic racism. They don't understand white privilege. They don't understand these things that are glaringly obvious to people of our age. And it's because of things like that. It's just a lack of education.
And the boomers were educated by a system that was driven mainly towards industrialization.
Exactly.
Whereas we live in a service economy now, not an industrialized economy.
Right.
So those tactics no longer really work, you know?
No.
I think, and back to the voting, the thing about it is it's not necessarily, you know, we make fun of more of the people that think that's all you need to do.
Yes.
People that are like, hey, if I go into church, I'm cleansed of all my sins.
Yeah,
Or,
passing
hey,
under the gateway,
yeah,
I can go into heaven.
vote
like some
blue no
dogma
matter
shit.
who. Yeah, if they post on Facebook and tell everyone, it's like, that's it. Once we get this guy out of the office, and we're like, this guy is just a symptom of what's wrong, man. Like, we
Yeah.
need...
Exactly.
And
yeah.
so everything you're saying, I am 100% with. And I've been doing that myself because our neighborhood isn't normally prone to crime. But I've noticed on all the block watch stuff, it's been crazy. And the police are not coming at all. And it's just getting... So I've been kind of organizing my own little militia
Nice.
of people to get them together. But unfortunately, I've only been able to rally someone who I think somehow, I don't know how in Clintonville, I found the one Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And some other guy that keeps wanting me to get into his truck with him late at night, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. So
Probably
I haven't
not,
found a
yeah.
great group. I might have to call you out there, James, with
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Just patrol,
I mean,
get
that's
drunk.
my old stomping,
Yeah.
There you
stomping
go.
ground. So.
You can hang out, get a tent.
Yeah, find Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Miller's
Yeah.
still over there.
We should get Miller
Yeah.
involved.
We'll
Damn.
take a shit.
Miller
over-
actually has he actually has Sovereign tattooed on his neck. He's the person that introduced me to it. But yeah, he's good people. Yeah.
I figured that's
Yeah.
who you were talking about. I really did.
Yeah.
Can we start a we'll go shit over the Calumet.
Yeah.
Can we start a good militia? Like, I know there are certain groups. What is there? There's a group. Well, I named myself kind of after the Oddfellow group, and they were apparently good Masons, which nobody really knows what the fuck the Masons did. I know a few Masons. Apparently, I don't know. But maybe is there a way to start a positive militia? Is there any such thing as that? Has there been ever in history?
I mean,
There's the not fucking
oh
around
yeah,
coalition.
in
the what's that?
The not fucking around
Yeah.
coalition.
I've never heard of that. What's
group
that?
of armed black individuals.
Oh, okay.
Who,
Well,
they had kind of a rough run the last time they went around. They had a misfire.
there's
Yeah, I
a
heard
long
about that.
history. There's a long history of that happening. I mean, the radical unionists have been doing, like, on the left has a long history of armed insurrection as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, the Black Panthers were started as a community defense fund. If the
Yeah.
cops aren't going to protect us, we have to protect ourselves.
Right.
There are plenty of community defense ideals
Mm-hmm.
that are similar to some of the tactics that the right uses in their militia movement, but it just comes down to organizing at the community level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Communities should be as self-sufficient as possible. Like, we have to show people that they shouldn't have to rely on a government to solve their problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is by, like, my dream is, like, we get, I'm going to vote for Biden because half the West is on fire, and I've had to evacuate 3 times in 3 fucking years when a wildfire comes through. And I don't think we have a whole lot of time when it comes to climate change. I think we've already passed most of the shit,
Yeah.
and it's going to get real bad. Like, they talk about climate refugees. I was one of them.
Mhm.
I live in campgrounds, and, like, the people who are my neighbors are people whose their houses have burned down and shit, Like, the climate refugees are here. This shit is happening.
Yeah. Have you ever heard
The
of
best thing we can...
Have you
Oh,
ever
go ahead.
have you ever heard of deep adaptation? This guy wrote a book. He's a scientist, a climate scientist that's basically come around, and it's really bumming everybody out, but it's the truth. He's basically saying exactly what you said. Like, he's like, everyone wants to keep being positive, even other scientists I talk to, but all my data shows we're way past the point of no return, and
Yeah.
now it's a matter of we need to prepare ourselves for what's coming and stop being, pie in the sky waiting for mommy and daddy fucking government to take care of us, because they're not going to. You need to protect your children. You need to start being prepared and, like, basically doing what you're doing and saying what you're saying. So I think you should look up deep adaptation, navigating climate change. It's a pretty interesting, a lot of stuff on YouTube about it. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to tell you that.
No. There's another article called Desert. It's written by an anonymous person, but you can find it on the Anarchist Library. And it really goes in depth into just inter-ethnic struggles in an age of climate change,
Yeah.
what role anarchism would have in it,
Hell yeah.
basically just an analysis of how states would react in these situations
Mm.
and how the individual can carve out a little bit more freedom under the right conditions of this.
Fantastic.
But
We should do a show on
Yeah.
that for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Definitely a climate change show.
Yes.
yeah, first we just have to stop this shit from rolling backwards. Like, we gotta get this fucking Cheeto out of office
I
because
agree.
the policies that have been enacted by the Bureau of Land Management and all these other things are just, if it's allowed to continue, there won't be a world worth fighting for, you know?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yep.
And and we have to realize that these right-wing ideologies arise from the same sorts of discontents that we on the left have.
Yep.
Like, there's the lack of interpersonality through a consumerist culture. And especially out here in the part of the West that I'm in, the Democrats really dropped the fucking ball.
Oh, wow.
On, like,
Democrats dropped the ball?
Oh, surprise.
Whoa.
I mean, in the 70s and stuff, you had mines shutting down. You had logging companies shutting down due to the forces of globalization. And the Republicans came in and said, that's what you get with environmentalism. And it immediately turned the entire population of this region against environmentalism, against any sort of progressive movement.
Yeah.
Add into that the culture wars and stuff. Like, we thought we won the culture war, but they never stopped fighting.
Yeah.
And now they're turning the culture, like, now we're losing the culture war, and this is what happens.
Do you think so? I guess that's an interesting perspective. We always say here that we're winning the culture war, but I mean, I guess, we are living in a city. And I'm sure you feel like we've completely lost it, being the only person within
like out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, out here there's no question that we've been losing it. I mean, they have been controlling the narrative. I've noticed in a lot of progressive circles, we keep throwing statistics and numbers at people thinking it's going to change their minds.
Yes.
Stories change people's minds, not numbers.
Yeah.
Like, we need a movie about a fucking black trans woman superhero fucking fighting the government. Like, people need representation.
Yep.
And among the rural population, there's nobody in a movie who's a doctor or a scientist that has a hillbilly accent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the right has done such a good job of othering the scientist and the academia.
Very anti-intellectual.
That, like, if it's not a simple answer, it's a wrong answer.
Yeah,
because the right can provide a simple, concrete answer to these problems, while the left is like, well, it's this way if it's this way, but under these conditions, it's this way. And that's not...
Actually, and none of us can agree with one another anyway, so...
it's just... when Fauci came out about the mask thing first off, and it turned out to be a lie, that was such a bad move on his part. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are we talking about that, guys? I'm sorry, I checked out for a second. Are we talking about the difference between how the right are handling the COVID and the left, or are you guys talking about something else completely different, and I came in like an idiot? Did that just happen?
I mean, we weren't talking about COVID, but we were talking about the different way that the right and the left handle narrative building.
Well, okay, so there you go. Like the scientists...
And the right is doing a good job of controlling the narrative.
They are, because they get people...
we get put...
Yeah.
We get put on our back foot. We're constantly trying to refute what they're saying instead of creating our own narrative.
Exactly.
We need to be creating our own narrative about this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I've taken it to, like, this is my whole tactic, and it works out pretty well so far. When somebody on the right goes, well, you just want to give all illegal immigrants your hard-earned tax-paying money. You just want to let them live for free. I just go, yes.
Yeah, I want a blowjob, dude. I don't know what the fuck you're talking. Like, like I work in a lot of like rural campgrounds and stuff because that's where I live. And there was a dude I worked with. He was in prison for 8 years. He was from Missouri. He had white pride tattooed on the back of his arms. You know, he was a member of the Three Percenters. He had a Three Percenters shirt. And this was when things in Ferguson were going down. Mm-hmm. And he would invite me into his house. We'd get high together, and we'd talk about shit, you know? Mm-hmm. And I told him, like, what would you do if the cops came into your neighborhood and shot your boy? What would you do if you were in this situation? Yep. And I got him to agree, a man who has white pride tattooed on his arms, that the protests in Ferguson were justified based upon those reasons.
Yep.
That is controlling the narrative.
Absolutely. Ask questions.
Pose
hypothetical questions. Don't just be like, well, statistics. Make it real for them. Tell them this is a situation that happened. How would you react? Would you be mad about that? Every time, if you boil it down to these simple mechanics to make it relatable.
And it's like, you're going to be pro-cop? Like, this dude was like, Blue Lives Matter. It's like, you've been in prison for 8 years.
Yeah,
like,
what?
the cops are like, we've both been arrested, dude. When was the last time a cop came around and you felt safe?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you have a sticker on your trailer that says, we don't call 911, but you're going to be pro-cop? Like,
I know. All I've ever gotten,
what the fuck? Like,
I've never called the cops for any help. I've gotten tickets, plenty of tickets from cops, though.
Yep.
What is that saying? They say reading creates logic and travel stops racism or something, basically. It's like when you're around and you see more cultures, you're less apt to be racist. And there's a guy who, I think it was an old, like a blues guitarist, a black guy.
it was Mark Twain quoted that.
Oh,
that was an old Mark Twain quote.
Oh,
He
okay.
said the best remedy for racism that I know of is travel.
Yeah. And I know
Something to that effect.
Yeah, and you can see it in my hometown where there's less gay people, less black people, less Muslim. You can just see how it starts to become the othering is very, very much there. And also there's a blues guy that used to he actually converted a bunch of Ku Klux Klan people. He would you remember hearing about him? And he would play music. And he would just sit down and have a beer with them, and it ended up one of the guys that was like I think really high up in the Ku Klux Klan eventually was like, wow, he was so intelligent. In my mind, I'd had black people being this horrible thing. And sometimes it's just meeting fucking people and talking to them, man. But the sad thing is I do not want to hang out with these fucking people. I don't have the patience to, and I'm probably going to have to because they're coming in from all sides. God damn.
Humanization is important. That's why I engage with all the people who comment on our
There you go.
YouTube videos with aggression.
Yeah.
I mean, like that last guy, like I said in the last video, he said that he was going to fight against me in this Civil War, and we ended up talking about what kind of alcohol we like.
There you go. You found common ground.
Exactly.
Like you can start by calling them names for a while and go back and forth, and then
I try
pull
to
out
keep
of
that. I try to keep that in check, unless it's absolutely batshit, and then I can
Yeah.
call him a weird little twat or
I'll have
something.
to wrap up. I'm sorry, my friend.
Yeah. So on that note, so fighting against these alt-right militias, knowledge is empowerment. Know who they are, know what their motivations are, organize. Set aside your differences with your comrades.
Heard that.
MLs, any MLs out there? As an anarchist, you are my friend. I don't care. But let's set aside our differences.
Unless you're an ANCAP. Fuck those guys.
Fuck ANCAPs. Okay, look, they're not on
Fuck
the
those
left.
guys.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
the hell you
What
guys-
we need to do is vote at the local level.
Yes.
That is where the most control over your life is happening.
Yep.
Get out there. Pick up, like, if you're walking through a parking lot and you see a piece of trash on the ground,
Just pick it up.
and throw it away.
Throw it away. I do it all
Because
the
people
time.
are going to see that,
Yep.
normalize altruistic behaviors,
Yep.
and get out there and engage with your communities.
Mhm.
Like, the reason people go to, like, the reason this alt-right ideology comes up is because people have needs that are not being met. We need to figure out how to meet those needs,
Yep.
whether it be interpersonal, whether it be spiritual, like, because crackpots are going to come around and other everybody else and take control of a bunch of angry people. That's what they do.
Yep.
If we can just show them that there is a different way, we're not going to agree about everything, but we should all be able to agree about, like, having safe communities
Yep.
and not relying on corporations to solve our problems and shit.
And,
like,
and
that
personal
shouldn't
freedom.
be radical.
And personal freedom.
Exactly.
We're
We're both talking about the
Yeah.
same thing.
Exactly.
Like, both sides want the same fucking thing, except for the far creationists and stuff who just want genocide and stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys. Shoot them.
Shoot them
But-
immediately.
I just want to say it was so much easier to create community when we had fucking bands that could play.
No shit.
God damn it! That's
Exactly.
what
Like, we are definitely at a disadvantage right now, you know?
I know. That's what
And
we're doing.
ammo is expensive as fuck,
Yep.
man. That is pricing out a lot of fucking.
It's making it
awesome
really
leftists.
hard. We're gonna have to do more.
We're gonna have to do like a fund drive or something to like raise some money so that we can get ammo in the hands of some like leftists who are
Dude,
struggling.
if we sold ammo, we would have enough money to buy more ammo.
Oh shit! This sounds like me in high school figuring out that maybe it'd be a good idea to be a drug dealer.
I want to have you on again and just hear. I want to hear all your guys' stories. That's what I was hoping half of this would be. But I'm very glad that we got to hear about the militias. That was very interesting, and I feel I now understand them more, and am more frightened.
More frightened, but
Yes.
more knowledgeable.
Yes.
That's what we do here on the Rad Left.
Yeah.
Scare you, but
Yeah.
give you the info.
I heard that.
I mean, you got to understand what you're up against, definitely.
That's
and
true.
now that we got that out of the way, we can tell about James fucking yelling at the security guard at the hospital.
Oh God, you wanna fuck me, you
Why don't you
pig?
fuck me in the ass, you pig?
All right, guys.
You were the third. Am I allowed to say this? Is this?
Well, that's fine.
Am
Yeah.
I allowed to say what happened that day? James was the third bath salts case in the county,
Oh, my
Franklin
God.
County.
I was number 3.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, you were number 3. Yeah, we went on like a 2-day bender on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
that does sound like a good
drugs
story.
drugs that the doctors did not even know what they were.
No, it was like right after I got out of the hospital from that. All these articles started coming out about like, look out, and it was like, oh great.
You're not the guy that ate his roommate, are you?
Not. I don't think so.
Okay. You're like, I'm not sure. I don't remember everything I did.
Yeah.
We ate a lot of things that weekend.
Hey, one of them could have been my roommate. I have no idea. I did feel oddly like bloated that week.
Did you guys ever try Datura? Have you guys heard of Datura or Datura?
I have not done that.
It's like a very
No.
dark. No. Okay. I was just checking.
Yeah, not yet.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
on my
James-
list.
I used to do like just odd jobs, and every now and again I'd hire James, and it always ended up on us just on like being awake for fucking 40 hours, like
Yeah.
robbing burned down factories.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chugging 40s and giant jugs of wine. Mm-hmm. Those are the good old days. All right. Well, hey, on that note, we should probably wrap up here. Danger, it was such a pleasure. Always a goddamn fucking some kind of experience. Thank you for enlightening us. And yeah, we'll definitely have you back for the Danger Zone.
Danger Zone.
A new bit we're gonna be doing. So yeah.
Sounds good, guys.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot.
All right, man.
Good luck out
Cheers.
there. Stay safe.
Yes, and everyone
Uh-oh.
else, we
No.
love you. Wear a mask. Stay sane.
I heard that.
I
Wear a
heard
mask.
that.
I heard that.
I heard that.
I heard that.
We all heard that.